This is Ohio Harness Update, a look at harness racing across the Buckeye State. Ohio Harness Update is brought to you by Matt Franklin, Wealth Advisor at Wire to Wire Wealth. Here are your hosts, Frank Frost and Ashley Daly.
Hi, I'm Frank Frost.
And I'm Ashley Daly.
Welcome to this month's edition of Ohio Harness Update.
This month we headed to Midland Acres in the middle of fall season.
And we were at the Equine Affair, which took place the first week in April.
The Equine Affair made its return for the first time in 2 years. The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association teamed up with the Harness Horse Youth Foundation, USTA, and Old Standardbred and Friends to demonstrate the Standardbred here in the Voidovich Center. The 4-day event was held at the State Fairgrounds in Columbus. The OHHA booth was in the Breed Pavilion and included a variety of activities for both young and old. The trivia wheel was a big hit, as people could answer equine trivia questions to win prizes including tumblers, books, and magnets. The kids enjoyed digging through the bone box to find horse bones and then compare them to a poster of a horse skeleton. The leg wrapping station offered the attendees a chance to try their hand at wrapping a leg. The virtual reality race bike gave people the opportunity to sit behind a horse and experience the thrill of driving in a race. Roger Houston jumped in the bike and took it for his own spin.
It is as true to life as you could ever have in a race bike like that. And then I know there was one section where I'm driving this horse and I'm trying to put him in the hole, but he wouldn't go in the hole because Hunter Myers kept him on the outside when he was driving in the actual race and such. But it was true to life, great feeling, and that, since I've already sat in a live race and stuff like that, it's as close to it as I've ever seen.
And actually, not only did you just get a drive in that race, you called it as well.
Yeah, did it? Oh, I never thought about that, yeah. Yeah, so now I've called a race that I actually was driving. That's another record.
Also in attendance at the OHHA booth was Willie Winnett, who was joined by drivers Roy and Casey Burns as well as Chris Page. The three answered questions and signed autographs. Also signing hoofographs was a 3-year-old filly pacer of the year, Smooth as Tennessee Whiskey. Owner Mackenzie Haynes says it's important to bring the champion to Equine Affair.
It was the best way to represent the breed. They need to see that a horse in racing in general, and then she's also doing a harnessing demo later to show how to harness a horse. But it's also important to bring the horses that are racing, that are making money, so people can see them in person. I mean, it's nice to see them on the track and see them from a distance, but it's always nice to see them in person and see what they actually look like up close.
In addition to Smooth as Tennessee Whiskey, a number of other retired racehorses were on hand, including Take It Back Terry, who won over $1.5 million during his career. Throughout the event, breed demonstrations were held to highlight the versatility of the Standardbred. Showcasing his performance from on-track to arena was Golden Receiver. His owner, Nina Simmons, wouldn't have missed his routine.
He was just magnificent from the beginning. I didn't race him until 3 because, you know, he was growing and big and his knees weren't together yet. But his 3rd race, he set a record at Tioga Downs, and I thought, oh, this horse is out of my class. You know, he's a champion. And for him to be here with Cherokee Stables, with these girls, with Emma and all these kids just making when he retired, he came back to my farm, but I couldn't give him the attention he needed. And he's sure getting it now.
A total of 32 Standardbreds were brought by Ohio Standardbred Friends, New Vocations, and Cherokee Stables. That's a wrap for the 2022 Equine Affair. Join OHHA next at the Ohio FFA Convention here at the Ohio Expo Center in May.
The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association would like to honor this month's outstanding grooms, Willie Chubb and Lucas Harper. Willie is currently working for the Jim Arledge stable and has been in the business for 35 years.
Growing up in Georgia, my cousin was working for Wildwood Georgia Farm, and I would help them on the weekends, and that's how I kind of grow into liking it.
Currently, he is caring for 7 horses and prefers working with trotters.
I prefer the trotters. It's just always something new with them. I mean, pacers, once they get gated, you just hope they're fast enough. And then the trotters, it's always something changing.
Willie says being around the horses is relaxing and like therapy. He says when he is not around the horses, he likes to spend time with his grandchildren. Lucas Harper is currently working with Black Magic Racing and trainer Todd Luther. He comes from a racing family.
Well, my father, he drove horses and raced horses. My mom was in it all my life, and then I just recently got back into it in November of last year because I just didn't know what else to do, and I said I'm gonna come back, and school really wasn't my thing, and I decided just to, not spend too much money in school and try to save a little bit of money and just come back here and do what I love, and I'm loving it so far.
Lucas says his parents were a little hesitant when he left college, but they have come around.
Mom was a little hesitant about it, but she knew right away that I didn't really want to do school and I didn't want to do sports anymore, and so she gave me the okay. And then my dad just came up from Florida, and probably I think last month or the beginning of April he came up from Florida, and so here we are.
Lucas says the plan is to start driving this summer. Congratulations to April's Grooms of the Month, Willie Chubb and Lucas Harper.
This month's trainer profile, Sam Calachi. Sam, how'd you get started?
Actually, I grew up in the business. My father owned horses for many years, and I had a couple of cousins who also trained, and that's kind of how I got associated with the business.
Now, you're originally from New York. What
Yes.
prompted the move to Ohio?
In the summer '97, things were getting bad in New York, and I had just a small stable of young horses at the time, and I was actually catch driving for my wife Jody, and she had told me that she was planning on making the move to Northfield, and she asked me if I would come along to drive her horses.
So tell me a little bit about the Calachi family then. So you mentioned Jody. She's still involved?
Yes, very much so. My wife is in the barn, and actually she's probably the biggest part of our success by far. I mean, she runs the barn. She leaves no stones unturned, and behind every successful person there's always somebody else, and my wife deserves most of the credit.
How many horses are training in your barn?
Right now we have a barn of 45. We have about 18 to 20 2- and 3-year-olds, and the rest are older racehorses.
So trotters or pacers?
Both, a combination of both. I love trotters, but they can also make you crazy. But you just gotta keep trying and never give up.
You're associated most with the training side of the business, but you've also done your driving. You have 14.5 million. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Somewhere's around there. I mean, I still very much love driving, but in the last 10 years or so, because of the help situation and everything involved, I'm forced to do a lot more of the hands-on stuff here at the barn, along with shipping the horses and being at the racetrack every night, warming them up. And it's just gotten to be too much to do everything.
My last question for you is, what's on your harness racing bucket list?
Well, of course, on my bucket list it would be to win the Hambletonian, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But, I just like to be successful. Me and my wife are a team, and that's probably what makes us so good together, is we don't always agree on everything that we do with each horse, but because of that, it pushes each one of us to try harder with some horses that maybe in normal circumstances would kind of get lost in the shuffle. And she has her ideas and I have my ideas, and we kind of butt heads, and that's probably what makes us so good together.
I lied, I have one more question. What do you do outside of the horses?
Not much. We recently, last summer, purchased a boat, and that's very enjoyable to us. Before moving here to Ohio, I used to love to hunt and fish and golf and stuff like that, but because of the limited time, them things are not very possible anymore. So we bought a boat, we both enjoy boating, and that's our leisure time.
And that's trainer Sam Calachi.
Don't forget to check out the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association Freshman Focus. Roger Houston talks with trainers from across the state about their 2-year-olds in training. Freshman Focus premieres each Thursday night at 7 p.m. on the OHHA Facebook page and YouTube channel. If you have missed any of our previous Freshman Focus features, you can replay them on the OHHA YouTube channel. We'll be back with more Ohio Harness Update after this message.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Welcome back to Ohio Harness Update. Spring is the busiest time of year for all breeding farms. I was lucky enough to head over to Midland Acres where they walk us through what it takes to bring the next generation. Joining me now is Jay Mossberger. So let's start with the history of Midland Acres.
We've got a long history. We started here, I believe we use the date of 1967. My dad was a large animal veterinarian, and large animal practice just kind of disappeared. And he had friends that were in the standardbred business, been after him for a couple of years. You know, you need to stand some stallions or do something over there with that farm as far as with equine. So Dad started, and we stood 3 horses here. I think the first year it was Jerryway, St. Gatian, and Gay Sam, I believe, were the first 3. I might even be wrong in that, possibly. Bred very few, you know, maybe 10 mares first year. This went on for, you know, 3-4 years, a very small operation. Then my brother came into the operation also, and Dr. Schwartz came into the operation. And my dad was here from the very get-go. Dad was always the backbone. He believed in hard work. Take care of your clients, you'll take care of your business. So we've lived by that. That's kind of the history in a quick sentence.
How big is your operation today?
We keep probably pretty close to 200 mares year-round on the farm. So right now there's probably 240, 250 on the farm. We keep about 100 yearlings year-round, and raise about 140, 150 babies, and some leave. We always end up around 100, 110 yearlings.
Do you only breed your mares to studs that stand here at Midland Acres?
No. We have a lot of mares from the outside come through. Matter of fact, we have 3 stallions here that are booked full, and then 3 other horses standing. And we probably breed 3 times. No, it's probably 4 to 5 times more mares than what we have here around. More than that, as far as there's, you know, we'll breed over 500 mares this year.
When do you know a mare is about to foal? Are there certain behaviors that you can spot?
Oh, sure. You know, you're getting into something I do a whole bunch of. So I check like 25 to 30 mares a day about their udders, to who's going to, because I can show you a list. There's 30 mares probably eligible to foal as far as dates. Well, you got to knock that down to what you think is going to happen and work with that. And I check udders every day, and the udder tells you 99% of the time what's going to happen.
Once you see those signs, what's the next step?
She's in a stall for that night under 24-hour watch.
Under 24 hours. So do you have cameras, or do you have somebody physically in there?
We have cameras in every stall. Johnny, my son, and I all have the cameras on our phones, so we can look at our phones anytime and look at them. But the big thing is, now during the day while we're all here, we don't have a person up or assigned completely, but we have a girl goes through there 4 or 5 times a day. And but from 4 o'clock to midnight we have a shift, and from midnight till 8 o'clock in the morning we have a shift.
Mother Nature can be kind of tricky though.
Oh yeah.
When do you make that call to intervene with a mare and help her through the rest of the foaling process?
The biggest thing you really will ever notice is a mare really pushing hard and nothing happening. When that mare, you know, they'll go into labor and you'll see some pushing, and you usually see a little. The first thing we check for, 2 feet in the nose. If there's 2 feet in the nose, you're 90% over the hill, because then the only thing that can happen is these too big to come out or whatever, and it's kind of a rarity. It can happen, but it's pretty much a rarity. But when you got a leg, it's all in delivery of everything coming right. If the leg back, head down, another, even back of the knee. Just think if you're trying to push something through an area that big. Now, if something balls up and it goes this way, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not going to go this way. It just gets bigger. So when you're trying to pull something that's not in the right position, it's not going to come.
Do you ever see mares not bond with their foals right away?
Yes, not many though. It's been, I mean, I've been doing this 45 years, and I can think of 2 or 3. Now you run into different situations of mares getting mixed up in fields and things like that more often. But as far as a mare not bonding with the baby she's got, very seldom.
You have already 100 foals on the ground and almost 70 more to keep coming.
Yeah.
How do you keep track of them, especially in the fields with other mares?
Well, you know, we run most of our fields right now. We'll not get over right here at the main place where most of these mares, it's a rotation. The mares foal, they come to a barn right here where they'll be turned out in paddocks like this individually. So the baby learns to adapt to the mother and stay with her. They know how to do that, but it's also a learning process. If you notice, even these babies we just turned out, at first they were kind of just scattered. Now they're right with mom. Once they're out a while, they learn to do that so much better. So we do that 3 or 4 times. Then we put them in groups, usually anywhere from 7 to 10 in a 30-acre field. Always want plenty of room for everything to get away. And, you know, they take care of themselves pretty much. These mares are where they're at because of their breeding situation. So if a mare's in foal and doing 2 months, I know what field she's in. If she's doing a month, we know what field she's in. If she's doing a few days, I know what field she's in.
How long will a foal stay with its mom before weaning?
We don't wean anything at all before 4 months, and it's usually 5, 6 months before we wean them.
Do you ever hope for a certain gender?
Oh, pray.
So what do you prefer? Which one do you prefer?
In pacers, you really like colts. Okay. You know, there's no doubt. Trotters, it doesn't make too much difference. But in pacers, colts are definitely a better item.
So to finish out our conversation here, do you have any advice for small breeders?
Breed fast to fast.
We want to thank everybody at Midland Acres for having us out this afternoon. We hope you learned something about breeding.
It was a big month for Milestones on the track. Virgil Morgan Jr. picked up his 7,000th training win when Family Recipe won at Miami Valley.
They passed 3 quarters. Family Recipe is there, 124-2. 28-3 backside. Don't judge a book on the outside in the pocket. American Dreamer is fired up, ready to go. He just needs room. See you at the beach. On the outside, My Hero Ron inside into the stretch. Family Recipe digging in. American Dreamer still looking for room. Don't judge a book on the outside. It's Family Recipe. Gate to wire from Don't Judge a Book.
Ohio Harness Hall of Famer Tony Morgan collected his 17,000th win of his career when he drove Commander Hill to victory at Harrah's, Philadelphia. At Northfield Park, Jason Thompson eclipsed the $10 million plateau in earnings when he drove Cam's Little Man to victory.
They'll move around the final turn. That's My Harley. Cam's Little Man is on the outside. If You Want Fire moves up. A Rhythmic Storm has just lost stride. Then it's I'm a Iron Man. They'll come to the top of the stretch. And turning first, Cam's Little Man. Inside is That's My Harley, who's still trying to battle. It's Cam's Little Man. Cam's Little Man big tonight.
At the other end of the spectrum, Tyler Angus won for the first time in a pari-mutuel race. Angus drove Bully Pulpit to the win at Northfield Park.
Making their way around the turn to the top of the stretch, and the leader is Bully Pulpit. In there to be second, Mock Stock and Barrel. Mancino's on the outside, far outside, Captain of Rock and Roll, but it's Bully Pulpit to score.
Later in the evening, Angus picked up his second win behind Heart Hero. The Ohio Stakes season got underway with the James K. Hackett Memorial races at Miami Valley. In the Philly Trot for 3-year-old Ohio breds, Toes in the Water was a winner for trainer Ty Loy.
Toes in the water, still a short lead. Gabby Sino trying to grind her down. Stephanie Hill to the inside is third, and out come the Plugs into the stretch. Toes in the water, digging in. Gabby Sino won't give up. She's trying to battle back with Stephanie Hill. Here comes the Rikers Caviar with late trot. Toes in the water, gate to wire in 155-3.
In the Philly Pace, Chris Page drove Cape Cod Hanover to the win for trainer Ron Burke, who swept the top 3 spots with Coastal and 20.
Cold-Hearted Gypsy still with the lead. Cape Cod Hanover working hard on the outside, but getting no closer inside. When You Kiss Me has had the trip, coming 3 wide, 20 into the stretch. Cold-Hearted Gypsy, Cape Cod Hanover still battling on the outside, is coming on and coming at her far outside. Coastal closing in with 20 in between horses. Cape Cod Hanover and Coastal to the wire in a photo 152.
On the Colts side, Chris Beaver trainee Caviar Gold was the winner for Ohio sired 3-year-old trotters.
Top of the stretch, it's Caviar Gold with the lead. The Mighty Hill inside, Rose Run Extra outside, Motto center of the track. What the blazing up, Blueberry Hill trying to close. It is all Caviar Gold. The Mighty Hill has gone off stride. Caviar Gold to win it from Motto, Rose Run Extra, and Rose Run Xander 153 and 4.
The final James K. Hackett Memorial Race was for 3-year-old Colt Pacers. The Burke Brigade did it again, sweeping the top 3 spots, led by Tony Hall driving Barry's Berries.
Seaside Way with the lead. Out of the pocket, here comes Berries. It's 3.5 back to move by the Spirit. Terminator outside. Rose Run Explosion is 5th. Then it's Dirge and Springbridge drag it into the stretch. Seaside Way and Berries stride for stride. Berries on the outside is getting the lead. Seaside Way fighting back inside. Berries wins the Hackett in 150 and 1.
On Sunday, April 3rd, the OHHA team headed down to Miami Valley Raceway for our television giveaway. Contestants were assigned horses at random. If their horse crossed the finish line first, they went home with a 55-inch TV, Roku stick, and subscription to RTN. All their finishers received $50 gift certificates to MVG restaurants. At the end of the night, 5 happy winners walked away with the grand prize. One of our winners included Karen Mills. Congratulations, you just won a 55-inch television here at Miami Valley Gaming. Did you expect to walk away with a TV today?
No, I did not.
What's the first thing you're going to watch on it when you get home?
I have no idea.
The OHHA plans to continue their TV giveaways this year at Dayton Raceway and Northfield Park.
Harness Horse Youth Foundation camps return next month to the Buckeye State. Get hands-on experience harnessing and jogging while learning from industry pros. Join us at the Van Wert County Fairgrounds May 20th through the 22nd or at the Union County Fairgrounds in Marysville June 3rd through the 5th. Friday night camps are open to all ages. For more information or to register for camp, visit HHYF.org. Registration deadline is May 13th. And finally, the staff of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association sends its condolences to the family and friends of those who have recently passed away. That wraps up this edition of Ohio Harness Update.
If you would like to become a member of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, visit ohha.com/join. Look for our magazine next month in the mail.
For Ashley Daly, I'm Frank Froz. We hope to see you at a track real soon.
This has been Ohio Harness Update. Ohio Harness Update is brought to you by Matt Franklin, Wealth Advisor at Wire to Wire Wealth. This has been a production of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.